What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Try Time Podcast. It's episode number 58. I'm Matt.
And I'm Callum.
And today you join us for the pod that is literally a headless chicken because we have nothing planned. This is rugby league off the cuff.
Yeah, which is probably, I think we've been due one like this where we can just sort of talk crap about what's been going on, really. There's a load of subjects that we can cover, but there's no sort of, set topic which we have done in past. I feel like we've not had one of these for a while, really.
So you'll know by the length of this how we've gone. Either it's going to be 2 hours long and we've put the world to rights again, or we're going to have there's going to be even less in our pod than's on Harry's head and it's over in like 2 minutes.
Yeah, insert picture now then of Harry's new haircut. He's gone for I don't even know.
Interesting look.
Yeah, I'm trying to put it in rugby terms, but I don't know if I quite can, really.
Don't know, he skinned the cat, let's just say that much.
Yeah.
So, should we start with what's just happened at the Challenge Cup?
Well, we could. I've got a decent little. What would you call it? What's the word the transition? I guess that's definitely not the right word. From Harry's hair to maybe the reason why his hair's falling out is because Cass are absolutely dreadful and got dicked by Wigan in Cup. Is that the reason why?
Oh dear.
If he's not even going to Bulls games at the minute, so it's like he's defo is a full on. We can defo.
No, that is a good point actually. He skips Bulls on Saturday. He did go featherweight in the end.
Oh, did he? I didn't see him.
No, after crying like a baby, he won't go, and he went.
Oh, I didn't see him. He never.
He's not going to York on Sunday, so he is now officially a Cass fan.
Yeah, and he went all the way to fucking Perpignan with them, so.
Well, exactly. Done more miles with the Tigers this year than the Bulls. But anyway, he swapped a team playing well for a team playing dreadfully, basically.
Yeah, albeit different divisions. But I guess the Challenge Cup transcends divisions, and we knew the outcome of this before it really started. Wigan put out a full strength.
Well, we also know that Sheffield put up a very strong fight against that full strength Wigan team, and Castleford crumbled like it would.
Yeah,
something at Diggerland.
God.
Yeah, you've got to get the past landmarks.
It does. It begs the question of, what is that gap between bottom end of Super League, top end Championship? Because I think it could be as tight as it's ever been. I mean, obviously with Wakey, that's
probably because the bottom of Super League is as dross as it's ever been. To be fair, and
Wakey comfortably beat the bottom three of Super League, and obviously we don't know what would happen. It's hard to say. I'm not going to say like the other teams would beat them. I think they beat London. I think the top six easily would beat London, the top six in the Championship. I don't know about the other teams like FC and Castleford. If they wouldn't want to be embarrassed, I guess, in a game like that, so they would give their all, and they would be the favourites. So, but it's questionable.
But yeah, I mean, to keep the run of Castleford landmarks going, they have indeed found an escape out of the Challenge Cup.
Oh well, I'm trying to think if there's any other landmarks now. God.
What was the one nice pub? I can't even remember.
Remember. My key memory from when we went Cass of a week was that pissed off Cass fan on way back when he was just shouting about why are Leeds fans in the pub? Like what? Like it was the most irrational thing ever.
Why are Leeds fans in the pub? Absolute every name under the sun for them. Just an embarrassment.
I just hate losing. Oh god, he's watching this now. He's gonna come kill us.
No, I definitely won't because he didn't start on me and he'd have known I'm a Leeds fan.
Yeah, true.
So he's definitely not.
Plus, I don't think they've got internet in Cass. So sorry, Cat. I've just absolutely offended a full bloody city there, haven't I? Town, not city.
I'm going to say it's definitely not a city. Well, they've already carried over the cup run, so now they've just had you insult them as well.
I know. So it's not great for Cass fans.
Should we move on to a different place to insult after a loss instead?
Yeah, but we can't really upset Johnny Lou, can we?
Well, now I'm going to say let's turn on the whole country and go for the French.
Right.
Because they got dicked by a fraud.
What, you mean? Oh, Huddersfield, yeah. I'm going to say it's... it's not been a good week.
Riot. They ran riot more than that bloody Bull last year.
But that's the thing, and I say it every week about Huddersfield, their ability they have got some sort of cutting edge where if they win games, they win games big, and you wouldn't have expected it at Catalan in like this. But fair play, Huddersfield again. They're proving you right.
What we know now is Huddersfield are better than Saints because they can actually win in France.
Yeah, I think if Huddersfield didn't pat the pants in them big games against your Saints and your Wigans, I think they could be up there. I think the playoff team. I think easy. Well, I think they've got a really good.
And they'll get 2 easy points on Friday as well, which will help them massively.
They're going into that at Headingley favourites for first time in a long time.
And they've got a South stand that I'm generally not exaggerating when I say it's probably about 50-50 half. I'm just thinking if it gets Rowan Sacks, we'll take the loss.
Yeah, it's very disillusioned
in the fan base. But I mean, we're here to talk about Huddersfield's good win over Catalan, and I think they've got the toughest of the semi-finals actually.
What have they got? They're against Warrington.
They've got Warrington.
Right. So you think that's tougher than Wigan?
Probably preferred Hull KR in this situation because I think then that could have been another Wembley trip on the cards for Huddersfield. Who've not been there since
like 2 years ago.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember if it was 1920 or whatever because you lose track, don't you, with some of those years. Yeah, 22, wasn't it?
Yeah, but obviously that one at Wembley, it was at Tottenham that year.
True. So when did the last actually play at Wembley? It wouldn't be back in 2009, were it?
Maybe, yeah. I mean, Huddersfield fans will be able to let us know about that, or you can get on your phone and Google if you want.
Huddersfield fans, that's a bold assumption.
God's sake.
What? You can't mention Huddersfield on this podcast and not insult the fan base. It is part of the tradition.
No, it's our whole stick is you slag off Huddersfield's fan base and I stick up.
You get the blame for it.
And I get blamed for it. I stick up for Huddersfield's fan base because the fans that they've got are great. Like they're some of the most loyal fans.
That's the problem. I mean, did you see Huddersfield sharing the away fan appreciation post in France? And it's literally one family sat in some seat.
Is that it? Is that all they took?
There were a couple lurking in the background, but the photo it was literally just on one small group of about 5 people. It was a bit tragic to be put on the club's official Twitter. But
yeah, I know what you mean. But I mean, yeah, it is what it is. I mean, we could talk about Huddersfield's fans all day, but I guess the big thing at the minute is that they are getting it right on the pitch. And I'm sorry, but Adam Swift, like, what a winger. Like, he's got to be top try scorer this year in Super League, and where he's going.
You'd certainly say so. He's right up there. Fitness not independent, of course, but yeah, this was their official thing. Look at all the empty seats. The fact that this has come from the official club account is a bit tin pot. Like, come on, let's do better.
That's rugby league's way, though, isn't it? If it's not tin pot, they don't do it.
That's true. And yeah, of course, I think it is actually the first since 2009, which I've just remembered. Who did they lose to in the 2009 final? It was Warrington.
Oh, well. I fancy him. I fancy him against Warrington. I think that's a great game, though. That is a proper
I think they've got the cup winners there.
Warrington? To beat Wigan in final? Or do you think KR could do Wigan?
Well, KR did the Wigan last year. They'll be looking for a repeat of that.
Yeah, I just can't see it. Wigan are.
I can't.
I don't know. Yeah, I just can't see it. But that'll be good.
A little bit, but I don't know. I feel like that cast results probably stunted a bit of momentum back into them.
Yeah,
KR.
I think it's a good.
It depends how they play because they go very. They're a bit hot and cold, I think, this season. When they turn it on, they're one of the best in the competition. The problem is they don't always seem to turn it on, and they've been fortunate they've got away with that, only playing the likes of Hull FC when they've not looked the best, which, I mean, let's face it, Hull aren't exactly difficult this year to beat.
No, not off what we've seen so far. Obviously, there's a lot of changes there with Hoy and Brown officially going and Smith's obviously.
Well, I guess let's try and look at the whole sinking ship separately, I think, probably, because it requires...
Yeah, well, that's an old bloody podcast. It's no week's content, is that?
Well, that's. I mean, what is that? What we do at some point? Is this summer coming? How to fix Hull FC?
Yeah.
Christ.
God. It's
Well,
all gone
join us
downhill
live on a
since we went to
fishing
that Hull
trawler for
derby.
that one.
God's sake.
But
Right.
yeah, and then lastly, KR getting the revenge on Lee. Fair enough, really. They played the better team. They were the better team on paper. Kendall with an absolutely abhorrent forward pass decision. My
That
God.
doesn't sound like him.
Don't know what were more backward, the pass or the ref. One of the worst. Was the least forward pass I've ever seen.
Yeah, it happens. It happens, especially with Kendall. I guess I know you're not the biggest fan.
Well, I'm glad it didn't change the outcome of the game because that would have been pretty scandalous, actually.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, we won't go too much into. Well, actually, I think we probably should go into the Saints' decimation. To be fair, and my apologies to Johnny. You might want to skip ahead for this bit. But
I know he was the biggest from what I saw on Twitter. I didn't watch the game, but from what I saw on Twitter, he was one of the bigger, like, we are terrible in this game. Like, he wasn't shying away.
He's very accepting of what's going on. Yeah, and I mean, Saints Twitter's in meltdown at the moment. I think John Bennison's been burnt at a stake again this week.
Yeah.
Paul Wellens, I've seen calls for him to be sacked and that he's the next.
I've seen a lot of that.
And
yeah, weird.
I mean, if you want Rowan Smith, feel free to have him.
I don't think they do, mate. I'm not.
Does anyone want him?
Maybe at Championship. Who were thinking at Championship?
York.
Yeah, well, you'd take that swap actually, wouldn't you?
I mean, we couldn't do worse out of it.
Thing is, I know we're going to come on to York later on, but like we've been saying, why is Andrew Henderson not like at Leeds? We were saying he's a good suggestion for that role, but how like the shit York like the bottom at league, like.
Well, this is now what's concerning me a little bit.
Yeah.
Why are York so terrible?
Yeah, we'll come on to York in a bit anyway, I think. All right, we're ready to transition into York.
Do we want to go Championship via Hull or Hull via Championship?
Oh, that's deep. We might as well speak about York now. We're at it, I reckon.
Go on, then we'll stick with York. Yeah, what is going on? Because I mean, I think we all kind of thought they'd recruited a bit weirdly.
Yeah, well, they've put a lot of their eggs in one Richie Myler-sized basket, haven't they? Really?
In one elbow injury retired basket.
Yeah, well, there you go.
I mean, maybe should have checked that the basket they were putting their eggs in didn't have a massive hole in the bottom.
Yeah.
But, surely they're not the worst team in the Championship, though.
Oh, no, they're not. I don't think they necessarily are. I mean, I'm going to get the results up now so we can look at, who they've played, because that can be damning, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, they lost to Wakefield the weekend just gone, which you'd have expected, especially after the 1895 as well, because they were, of course, in the same group. Trying to think who else they've played this season, and I'm drawing a blank.
I'm just getting it up now. But what I wanted to say was that I think the most interesting bit is Henderson. York was really bad last year for the most of the year, and then Henderson just took them on some mental run towards back end of the season, which got them playoffs from nothing. And then obviously we beat them in the playoffs, Bradford. But they still got there. That's why I thought they were going to be done. I mean, where did we put them? We definitely put them playoffs, both of us. They were definitely in around that 5-6 mark.
I was going to say, I think I'm near the bottom end of it, but
this is a thing. Look,
I will say my Widnes playoffs shout is looking rather strong.
Oh, well, yeah. But then also, we'll go to Widnes because they've fucking played no one. We'll get to that. York's fixtures, first game at season, Doncaster away, should be winning.
Big L, given Doncaster are 13th and the one above them, and that's their only win season so far.
Then you've got narrow loss 20-14 at home against Toulouse. I'm not as bothered about that. Although Toulouse will come on.
Although Toulouse have only won one game and it's against York. I mean, I was going to say for Doncaster it's the Pauly effect, but I don't know what this one would be down to.
That's the thing. So 2 of the teams they've been beaten by have only beat York.
Yeah, which is pretty worrying.
Yeah. And it's like Toulouse haven't played Wake it out yet. They've played Bradford, Swinton, and Sheffield that they've lost again, which are all you'd expect Toulouse to win all
Yeah,
them.
but Swinton at home, that's
that's the worst because away at Sheffield and Bradford are both good playoff teams that at home can beat anyone on the day realistically.
you
And
kind
they
of
have
think,
done,
yeah, and Toulouse aren't the dominant force they were 2 or 3 years ago. So to lose those kind of games over here, you'd expect that, and then just you kind of think, well, that's okay. We can pick those points back up at home. But if they're not even beating the likes of Swinton at home, and you're seeing Deck Patton kicking them for 6, then it's a bit worrying.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and then York lost 15-14 away at Barrow, which again it's narrow. Barrow do look quite good actually.
Tough place to go, but at the same time, I mean, what have Barrow won? Are they on 4 points?
Yeah, Barrow on 4, so they're
They at least have beaten somebody else.
Yeah, but then I think that somebody else is Dewsbury. Only narrowly as well. Dewsbury, I tell you, I know they've only won 1 game, but it were a big win.
They haven't played York yet, though.
Yeah, that is true. But yeah, and then obviously York lost to Wakey, 50-6 against Wakey's at home is poor. Like I know Wakey are good, but that is poor.
Like half century clear good.
Yeah, it's damning really because I mean Wakey didn't put that on Donny last week.
I mean, what
you can go through that.
You've got this great ground, you've got this great facility for rugby, you've got a fantastic women's team to go alongside this. York going into League One would just be shambolic for the entire project.
Yeah, I don't think it'll happen though. But I'm looking at this championship table and it's just baffling to me. Like Swinton, I've only won 1 game, and it were against Toulouse away. They've lost away at Whitehaven and at home at Sheffield, which Sheffield's hard, and I expect them to lose that. And away at Widnes look good, like we're saying.
Well, are we seeing the French Revolution in rugby league? You've got Catalan. I've seen this posted about, so before we come, deliberately losing the Challenge Cup to avoid having to pay $500,000 to the RFL in Wembley shortfall money.
Yeah, well, maybe.
And then you've got Toulouse potentially not wanting to pay for travel to Super League teams, so going the alter end of the spectrum, getting relegated to set up a French derby with the new boys in 27 or whatever year it is.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think it's that, but the Catalans one sounds feasible. But the Toulouse one, I mean, thing with Toulouse is they're in every game. I won't be worried for Toulouse. I think they're still playoffs. I mean,
I certainly don't think they will go down. I haven't been. No. That one is a bit of a stretch, but
they lost by 2 against Sheffield. The actual one that's probably the worst result for them is the fact they only just beat York 20 points to 14 based on how everyone else has done against it. Like,
what would Wakey put 50 on him?
Yeah, exactly. And they lost by 6 against Swinton, which again's close, and they lost by 7 against Bradford at weekend. So,
although according to you, James Vella could have perhaps give him a 15-metre head start every set.
Yeah, it wasn't the best performance from the referee, but that was more just because Toulouse were just dirty, very dirty. And obviously they got a sin bin for that. They probably should have had a couple more, but anyway, that's by the by. But yeah,
I'm just looking back now. Actually, the York Wakey game. Is it necessarily a crisis more than where we're at the start of the season? Because we've gone from 50 points to 6 versus 40 points to 4 back in 1895 round 2 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
It's not that big of a point swing. I think the big problem is where do they go now that obviously Myler's gone? Because you would suggest that they're going to need to bring some people in.
Yeah, the recruitment. The fact is, you look at the championship, not the table now, because the table doesn't tell everything because certain teams have played certain teams and stuff, like we're saying. But like certain teams have recruited well, and certain teams just haven't recruited. Like Halifax have not recruited well. Like, and their fans are the first people saying this. Like, yes, Eden's great. Widdop is all right. Like, he's going to do you a job. Don't get me wrong. It depends how much they're paying him, which I don't know, But they haven't recruited well in the past.
Hacks are relying on Leeds dual reg. That's the problem.
Yeah, because they've got such a thin squad. You look at some other teams, and it's like The squads are big, and you've got Wakey, Bradford, and Fev all bringing over a few games into the season, big international from us over. I mean, Bradford, we've got about 5 quarter play. I know there's no quarter in championship, but that would be quarter players in our team, which is crazy in the championship, really, in this day and age. And other teams have got none. Although
it's like, at least with Bradford, you look at where things weren't great last year, and obviously Flanagan's 52.
Yeah.
Rugby obviously wasn't your player and has gone back to Huddersfield to end up on loan.
Seguiaro went home.
Seguiaro went
back to wherever he was playing in France.
So you saw, right, we've got a weak point here at hooker. So you go out, use some connections, in comes Suit with the scooter.
Yeah.
And we're putting that one up as well.
Yeah.
There's still some depth who you've got. There's actually some logic to the recruitment, which is what is probably going to be key this year. Because the big concern you've probably got left really is number 6.
Well, yeah,
Gaskell looks like he's never truly gets this year.
Although John Davis, I mean, he's doing the job there at the minute. We're winning. We've won 3 games against good teams
with him in the hands.
And he against, away at Fevs, obviously again we've not won for ages. Home against Toulouse, but like the big games, and he's doing a job there. Don't get me wrong, I don't want him there come playoff time, because I think he's set up perfectly now to play loose for season once we get Gaskell back, which.
And that depends if he got injured pushing Wakefield girl's coat off stand again.
Yeah, true.
But at least he's got his missus in his corner. Fair play. He's found a loyal one.
Yeah, true. Defending him on bloody Twitter. God. So, right, Widnes anyway, because I feel like that's a big story of them. 4 games, 4 wins.
Well, I'm going to say a good 10 points down at home to Fax to going towards half time. Go and smash them 40-14.
Crazy.
What lasagna did there at half time? Is that a Wenger special?
Yeah. But yeah, the wins. I mean, they beat Barrow, which you'd expect them to at home. They beat Swinton at home, which they saw in 1895 Cup isn't. Swinton are a team that can beat anyone on the day.
Well, Toulouse have shown that that's not an easy feat.
Yeah, exactly. Then they beat Dewsbury, which you'd expect, and obviously blew away Halifax. So they've probably. They have, because Halifax at home for Widnes is probably a game that they're the favourites for. So they've won all the games they should have done so far.
But I guess if you talk core score lines, they put, and obviously I know you can't necessarily compare what happens game to game in this sense, but like they did put a further 11 points on Fax to what you guys did.
Yeah. No,
so in terms of controlling games and taking chances, it suggests that actually, despite not necessarily playing one of the big teams yet, they're all set out to put a performance in, which almost ties us back then to the cup again when they came to Odsal and took the chances.
Yeah, which is what won them that game. And it's good. I mean, I'm looking at the next 2 games. They go away to Fev this weekend, and then away to Odsal week after. Like, if you come out of that with 1 win, you're happy. You're not the favourite for either.
No, I'd agree with that.
And Fev had a good bounce back win this weekend, and I think Fev. I know they had a couple of negative results. I mean, losing against Wakey and Bradford, who you predicted to be the top 2, is not necessarily crisis mode, but they don't look the same Fev as they have in the past. But I still expect Fev to beat Widnes. But I think I'd love it if Widnes go at Fev and win. I think that'd be great. Obviously, that if we then win at York as well this weekend, Bradford Widnes on that Sunday, which is one that you can't go to, is going to be like a massive clash. That's going to be a great game.
Well, it's one of those I can't go to because I need to get me down in London. I don't fancy getting in at like 11 o'clock at night. But if it ends up being that good of a game, then I might have to reconsider whether it's worth getting into London at 11 o'clock at night for.
We'll say that if Bradford and Widnes win this weekend, then there you go.
I don't know if I'm quite putting wagers on it, but we will see.
Yeah, you'll be there cheering. You'll be cheering for York, won't you, in away end next week?
Or more likely, I'd just be cheering for Fev.
Yeah, well, yeah, true. I don't know which is worse. But yeah, Wakey doing what they're expected. Sheffield as well, 4 wins from 4. Again, obviously beat Toulouse, and then they beat Swinton, Whitehaven, and Doncaster, who you'd expect them to beat. But again, they look like they're going to be a shoe-in for playoffs, as they always seem to be.
Just a chef look as strong as ever, and wakey.
Yeah, pretty much. I wouldn't be surprised if, I'd probably say the current top 6, if you swap Halifax for Toulouse, not necessarily in the positional order, that's probably my playoffs based on 4 games.
Fair enough.
So you got Wakey, Widnes, Sheffield, Bradford, Fev, and then you would have Toulouse in mind. I think that's probably what we're looking at. Swinton don't look as good as I thought they would have done, even though they beat Toulouse. So then they were my outside shot.
And Whitehaven have started better than I think we thought they would.
Yeah, I had Whitehaven and Dewsbury going down quite comfortably. But, they beat Barrow, which is obviously a big game up in Cumbria, and beat Swinton. So, they only need to win games if they can pick up wins in games like that, they'll stay up. So, but they also haven't played one of the big boys yet. They've played Sheffield, they've played Batley as well. They haven't played the top sort of. I know Sheffield are probably top 4, really, aren't they? But you know what I mean. They haven't played your Bradfords, Fevs, Toulouse, Wakeys.
No, that's perfectly fair.
So I feel like we've beat the championship to death there. I feel quite happy with that. I feel like I've got a lot off my chest there that I don't usually get to speak about.
Well done.
Right, League One, how's Midlands doing? No, I'm joking. I tell you what, though.
They did bottle it.
What a win for Egremont at the weekend, our team.
Yeah, unlike Midlands, Egremont didn't bottle it. They know what's going on. And 40 points on the opposition. Fantastic point scoring haul.
You don't see that at that level, though, because it's such tight games usually. It's fair play to them, but...
Yeah, great result. Obviously puts them 6th after 6 games, but it's always weird because that many games get postponed in the early stages in that division. Not everyone's on anywhere near the same numbers, but...
Yeah, they'll take that,
you take it. 3 wins out of 6. Good starts, a solid start back in the top flight, and... Yeah, that's the kind of early form you want, really. Kick things going.
Oh, definitely.
Bring on Lock Lane next week.
Yeah, and also I've heard some rumours that Egremont obviously looking to strengthen the squad, and there's now one player who's they don't have quota spots down there. Tex Hoy to Egremont is on.
I'm going to say I've told you Richie Myler's retired on medical grounds. I don't think he'll be going up there.
Yeah,
but. Yeah, Tex Hoy to the Mont, that'd be... Can you do it on a cold, rainy night in Cumbria? Who knows?
Well, that's my transition into Hull FC anyway.
Oh, I think you're going to say side for Barrow, and you've got some inside scoop there.
No, that'd be interesting. Who's going to sign him, though? Because I can't see... Unless he goes to, Cass, but I've seen Cass fans don't want him, they don't need that position.
I've seen a few names mentioned, and... Cass is one of them, which I actually, contrary to the Cass fans, think would be a good signing because...
Oh, he'd be the best fullback, but...
Well, the thing is, Broadbent cannot throw himself into a tackle. That's where he lacks as a fullback. Whereas Tex Hoy is not as afraid of tackling.
Yeah.
The problem you've got there is there's no quota spot.
Yeah, but I've heard rumours about Vete going, but then who's going to take Vete?
Well, if you let the Cass fans run the club, then I think they'll all gang together and put the weekly dole money in to pay for Miller's taxi.
Why? I don't know why you Miller think. I think they all actually like Miller. I think it's just you who don't like Miller.
No, they don't. I've literally read about 15 separate comments on the Cass font that was just like, Miller needs to go. Miller offers nothing. When can we bin Miller off?
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but how many? All of them quota spots, bar probably one, are being used well. I would argue maybe 2. Really, I think you've definitely got El Zaki.
Yeah, you don't get rid of El Zaki. He's probably been one of the better players.
And Horn as well. Horn's good.
Horn's worth keeping.
Good little rotation hooker. Don't mind.
You're not going to get rid of Namo and Putt when they've only just signed.
Yeah, but they're not.
If they do offload them to Newcastle,
they're not Super League level. They're in the same ballpark as you look at these, your Papua New Guinea guys who've come over to, you got like your Mackenzie Years, your Kevin Appos that have come to Championship. To me, they're in that bracket. So they're not, like, for example, I love Kevin Appo, unreal, but he's not Super League quality. He's good upper Championship level forward, which I think they are as well. But maybe that tells you more about where Cass are at the minute.
Yeah, I mean, I don't particularly rate Narmo too highly. I don't think I've seen much of him that's made me think, oh yeah, he's a great signing. One that I don't really know why they've signed as well, and I don't think it's been great. Tassipala.
Yeah, and it's like, to me, these are like the sort of players who go over to Championship. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's the sort of overseas signings that you've seen, like, where teams take a punt on these type of players. But Cass have obviously gone a different approach, which obviously can work because you get some of these players and they're great. But yeah, I'm not sure.
I'm going to say, I look at this and I think it's just poor management because, like you say, even we might have disagreements on what Miller's contribution is, but you're not going to win anything major with him in your halves anymore.
No, you're not.
And I would argue if York needs someone else to play in Myler's position, then he wouldn't be a bad option for him.
Yeah, but I mean, use Myler's wages on Miller. But no, I think Miller will be on a decent bit more than that, which is probably one at most.
I do, which might be part of the reason Cass fans want him gone as well, if they think he's one of the higher earners in that squad.
Well, he will be, won't he? And he's I mean, who are their marquees?
Well, that's a good question. I'd imagine McShane's one of them because I imagine
he should be.
His contract, he'll have been right up there.
Yeah, he should be. And him and Westerman are the best two players.
Yeah, but I don't know if I might see Westerman on silly money, really.
Well, no, because he spends it all at Greg's. It won't be at Greg's, would he, if he were on silly money? He'd be at Couplands or something.
But like, he's back at his hometown club. Like, he's not probably demanding.
No, I know. I don't think. My point is, I don't think any of them should be on.
Is it Kabula?
I mean, he should be on work experience. Never mind getting fucking paid.
How did he come out of Wigan's academy? Eh?
Well, he's been fucking everywhere, hasn't he? Which probably tells you a lot about him.
I wonder how much they paid Richardson out of Saints.
Yeah, he'll be on a fair whack.
Likewise, Watsley, I bet he's on a decent bit of money.
Yeah, sort of like legacy money, that, innit? When they're older and sort of. But then these PNG boys won't come over for no.
No, definitely not.
Cost money. Sim probably ain't come over for no either. Broadbent will be on a decent bit when they got him out of Leeds. Realistically,
well, they want out of contract, so we don't know what.
Yeah, but still, he'll be on a good bit of money because he'll have had offers elsewhere as well. Like, there'll have been some subtle negotiations here. Like, do you know what I mean? I bet Leeds, you'd probably have him back at Leeds, would you? Maybe.
Don't know where you'd play him, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. No, if Momirovski's learned how to tackle, which I think he has the last couple of weeks, I think you're all right.
Yeah, just now learned to double movement as well, which is slightly not what I had in mind.
Well, he's gone from one extreme to other.
Yeah.
But anyway, Hull FC, what we were meant to be speaking about.
Well, no, we're on about Texoy's possible destinations.
Right, so go on then, Cass.
So the only teams that have quota spots in Super League are Warrington and London. Well, he ain't going to Warrington because that would be pointless. So, and London, I could see it.
Yeah, I could see it. But it's up to him wanting to move and then wanting to also spend the money on him. Like, yeah, they've got a quota spot, but the whole thing is we're not spending money on a load of players. Like, if they were gonna sign Texoy now, why didn't they bloody sign whoever else and all the better players that they could have signed? If that makes sense. Like, they've obviously got a set plan of what they want to do for the season. I mean, they got Kershaw. They knew what he was like. He's trained all pre-season at Leeds. They put him on a trial. Just sign the bastard. Like, he's good. Just sign. Like, why are they being so stingy?
Few free weeks out of him.
Yeah, but they'll have to put him up down there, won't they? He won't have been getting bloody LNER down, will he, from Wakey?
Don't know. Michael might have copped him some cheap tickets.
Yeah, I doubt it. Can't cop any. Was that nowadays? Can he bloody it? When was the last time we went down with him?
When was the last time he went to?
I think it was like that bloody England semi-final at World Cup, actually.
To be fair, he did come to the Leeds game. But in terms of
No, I mean, he's going down to
involved
London.
any travel, yes.
Yeah. But that's not necessarily his fault, I guess. But anyway, sidetracked again. So what do you think? Championship potentially for Hoy?
Well, I mean, the main one that's coming out of Championship is ironically Bradford.
Just don't see it. Unless he's going to play 6. But I think if he was going to go to the Championship, they would have loaned him, because I know they'll probably paid him off, or they will have paid him off. So realistically, this year, money's not an object. He's got his money for a year, I guess. Technically, that will be out. So any extra that he can get, it'd be great. At Bradford, don't get me wrong, if we signed Texoy, I'd be like, I'm happy with it, but I don't see it. Because I'm like,
or do you play him at 1 over McGowan?
No, because McGowan's there for the season and he's good, and I think Huddersfield won't be happy with that. We've then got Holmes, who potentially is going to be back after all the good news coming out of him at the minute with the cancer and stuff, which is great. But
let's be realistic, he's not going to be back until the late end of the season at best. And also, it's going to take him probably a lot longer to get back into match sharpness, because I can't imagine he's doing much in terms of intense training while this is going on.
Oh, no, which is...
You know, it might be able to do basic cardio, but...
Yeah, I know, and that is fair, really. And I think... But then again, is he going to play 6 if Gaskell's fit as well? And it's like, there's a lot of stuff going on there. And then you've got... See, that's why I think a good Championship destination could be York. Probably can stay living where he is now in Hull or in surrounding areas. They've just lost Myler.
He won't be living in centre of Hull on his wage. Come on.
No, but you know what I'm saying, don't you? Like, he's not going to have to relocate necessarily. York have got the money there probably for after Myler, or if they don't, it's not going to cost them a lot, I'd imagine, if he's being paid off from Hull, and it fits their gap. So I could see that. I wouldn't be shocked by that. But I also think Hoy's got a degree of, which is warranted, like arrogance, and sort of probably sees himself above the Championship. So maybe it'd have to be a wakey for, which ain't going to happen. It'd have to be a wakey for him to go, full-time environment with the promise of going up. Wakey aren't going to sign him because Jowett's homegrown and they love him, and he's fair enough, he's good. And then you've got Gale and Lino. Lino's the best player.
How's your Jowett getting on?
Fucking worse than theirs, I tell you that for a fact, but probably rightfully so, actually. I don't know. We had a couple play for Rochdale this week. I saw on Twitter, like, Ben Blackmore scored an hat-trick for Rochdale. I'm like, what's going on here? What
I thought he was still injured.
No, he's like, because he's come back, but he wasn't ready enough, to play for Bradford, but he can play.
Oh, it's just like the equivalent of shoving him in the under-23s.
Yeah, I guess. And then Flanagan's just,
Flanagan's there for vibes, really, isn't he?
Yeah, because I think he's doing a lot behind the scenes as well now, which is good. Well, I wouldn't expect us to just sell him mid-season, because I think that'd be, he's done a lot for us, and he still probably does in the changing rooms. He's not playing, but he's still there in all videos after the game where we're singing in changing rooms and stuff like. I think he's an important member of the team. But yeah, I can't see. I don't know about Texor, honestly.
So what we're saying, him to York, and obviously Myler to Hull as the new Director of Rugby, which really screams ambition from Hull.
Are you being sarcastic?
Yes.
Oh dear.
It's not the proven name that everyone would have wanted, and after the Brett Hodgson farce, where they tried something a bit fresh and new, didn't really give it the time to blossom, and sacked it off. It seems backward. Surely insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different outcome.
Yeah, it just seems strange to me how he's so fresh off of, and I can say this, like, there's players who do step into Director of Rugby straight after playing, like, look at Jake Webster, now he's at Keighley doing that job behind the scenes.
But it's a very different level.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's a significant job at Hull, and getting Myler's just going to increase the media circus around the club.
And also it's these fullbacks that seem to be the problem. I mean, Hodgson couldn't do it. Wellens is facing calls to be sacked. Add Richie Myler to the list.
It's interesting. Put it that way. But what's he going to do? Like, I get the point of a director of rugby, but
he's going to sell them a good head coach appointment. And the problem with Tony Smith is that he's too outdated. You want the younger model.
One of the most controversial players currently playing in Super League. Was playing in the Championship. After coming from the Super League, he has.
Okay, I think there's a bit of a difference. I'm not going to defend his actions, but there's a difference in controversial between the likes of Zach Hardaker crashing his car while over the limit for the 50 billionth time versus cheating on his missus. Granted, with the daughter of the president of your club, which is not a good look.
But that's what I mean. The media.
What's it going to do? Set the country file sheep on him? But
it's like the media know him for what he did to her, which is like what he did is what he did or whatever. But it's a big thing, and it's something that follows him and picking him up.
It's all they haven't got media coverage, there's no internet.
Yeah, but we haven't messed it. Well, we've got a fucking hear about it. They've got a cheap chippy though. That's what matters.
They have got a cheap chippy. Probably that only place has got electric in that city. I'm surprised Copper hadn't been nicked from it before.
Tell you what, TK Maxx, mate, that's got some electricity.
Yes, but it hasn't got much signal because you struggled to FaceTime your last for dog stuff.
Yeah. This is a bit of a behind the scenes of what we did before that whole Derby vlog. We spent about an hour in TK Maxx.
God, yeah. Does dog need this? What treats does dog have?
She can hear you. She's laid asleep next to me.
I'm assuming you mean dog here and not your missus.
Yeah. No. Yeah, just the dog.
But yeah, Hull, weird.
Yeah, the whole situation's weird, I guess.
I don't really know who's going to bring in that's going to magically transform. Because I don't know. I don't imagine him to be the most well-connected bloke in rugby.
That's what I mean, though. Like, you're not going to be like, director of rugby. Oh, come round to my house and let me speak to you. Like, I know they do this in football, not necessarily rugby, but like, you're not going to want to take your missus. You're like, oh, come with your family. You're going to take your missus round to his house, are you?
Well, unless you're club president's daughter.
Well, maybe that's it. Maybe Adam Pearson just wants someone to marry his daughter off or something.
Maybe Pearson wants the headlights to be off of himself for a few minutes.
Yeah, that may be so. But, I mean, I get why Myler's taken the job, because obviously he's now not playing. Makes sense. Like, it's not as easy as some people say, like, well, I wouldn't take any job at Hull FC because of the controversy at the minute. Myler don't really have much choice. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they're making bloody head coach as well. Like, can do fucking both jobs.
I think that would be a disaster.
Yeah. I don't even know who I see him getting in head I don't know.
Well, it's not. I don't know. I don't imagine it to be some inspiring name.
Leon Price.
Oh, I'm going to go even worse. I'm going to say Richard Agar.
Yeah, maybe they need Agar. Oh God, I didn't think I'd ever say that.
That is a sentence no one ever thought we'd hear on the podcast. Is this so you've got a free Challenge Cup win if you get him?
Yeah, but I think he'd do something. He'd sort some stuff out. It's something different in it, I guess. Like, you'd think Tony Smith would be that sort of man who could just come in and at very least he's going to help the culture at club, and it just happens.
They want Rowan. He's good for 6 months.
Yeah, that's what they need. I mean, bring in fucking John Keir, mate. Get out of retirement.
Get Brian Noble back.
We're fucking using him at minute. Don't take him.
Yeah, you shove him on your team list without a sponsor every week.
Yeah, he's there. He's there. He's. I don't know his official. He's not director of rugby. He's like the sort of. He's a. What's the word? Like an informant of him and O'Carroll. Like he's his wise man on his shoulder.
I mean, what are we saying? Assemble the most controversial Hull FC staff board as we can. We pick people from other sports.
Right, go on.
Shove Myler in head coach run. I knew we needed new exec to run Hull FC. Just create more controversy. Get bloody Vince McMahon over.
Oh, bloody hell.
Fresh off his all sorts of allegedlys that I don't go into because
a
he's
lot
got
of
far too much money to
sexual
sue me.
assault charges and stuff, weren't there?
Yep. There you go.
What
More Hull FC controversy.
What they're going to do halfway through match, floodlights go out, Undertaker comes out.
No, we don't like that decision. Get Brock Lesnar out to come beat up ref.
Yeah.
Christ.
Oh, dear.
I mean, you'd have the next game. Oh, how many home games got to see? None. It's in Saudi.
Yeah. That's where money is.
I mean, I tell you, you'd have a job-breaking streak with that one. It might get to 0-21 without being broken again.
Yeah, where they're going at minute. How many have they lost in a row now? Did they win? They didn't even win one in Cup, did they?
No, the only game they've won this calendar year is Hull.
Oh,
no, London.
Yeah, I forgot about that one. Yeah. Wow.
And that one at home, don't forget.
Yeah. And they nearly lost it as well.
Who've they got at Magic?
They've got London, haven't they? Because it's the first game on Saturday.
That's a more interesting one than what it initially sounded, actually.
Well, yeah, that was the one that we were like, oh, that's going to be a shit one.
It's really not now, is it?
No, exactly. I mean, that's going to be a good day of rugby, actually. I'm looking forward to that. We're going to be there.
Yeah, that's going to be really good. Have we fixed rugby again, then?
What do you mean, have we fixed rugby?
Is there anything else that we need to chat rubbish about, or have we actually covered?
Women's Super League starts.
Oh,
do you want to hear me cover that?
It does. That's a point. The semi-finals of the Challenge Cup, are they not the exact same as last year? It's the same four teams. It was definitely Leeds and Wigan last year. I'm sure Saints must have had York.
Oh, do you mean in the women's? I would think it men's. It probably was, yeah. I feel like there's four standout women's teams, isn't there?
It's funny because I was on about this earlier because basically I work with someone whose family plays for Warrington Ladies, and obviously they got politely decimated at the weekend. And it's like there's such a big gulf in class, like you say, between those top four. Leeds, Saints and Valkyrie especially. And then the rest of the WSL.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, because whenever you see it on Sky, I don't know if you notice it, it's always like Leeds versus St Helens, Saints versus York, Leeds versus York.
Yeah, it's always
It's never Featherstone Rovers ladies versus Barrow ladies, is it?
No, not quite. Not quite.
Like, we don't really share the WSL coverage round very fairly, do we, in rugby?
No, what we'll do is, though, this year, I know it's not WSL, it's a championship, but like when the pitch gets better, when it gets towards summer, Odsel, they'll have like as a curtain raiser, or after the match, they'll have the women's match. I feel like we should stay and see what the quality.
So have you still got one? Because obviously they got relegated last year, didn't they?
Yeah, we have. It's a very reduced thing, but we have still got one, yeah.
Because I saw somewhere a Bradford team had forfeited one the other week, and I thought that was your women's team that hadn't got enough players.
I think it was the women's team, but I mean, we played this week, I think.
Okay, so it's still actually going.
It's still going. Yeah, I think we just couldn't get a team 1 week.
Ah, right. I thought you were like fully West Wales and just disappearing.
No, not quite.
Okay,
we need IMG points.
Fair enough.
But I think we have covered it. I'm thinking there'll be something we've missed. That's happened.
Definitely. They'll let us know in comments.
Something will probably happen next day. I mean, we're recording this on Monday, goes out Wednesday. Something will happen on Tuesday.
That's true.
You know, Joe Westerman will be spotted outside of Couplands, and my whole thing earlier on will be disregarded. Or maybe Pound
Yeah.
Bakery.
Well, there we go. We started this podcast, nearly an hour ago, and to keep the running joke of last week's pod going, a million love songs later, here we are.
Wow. Review on the Take That concert will be next week. I've still not gone yet.
Is that Saturday's video? We're saying we don't know what's coming out on Saturday.
I'll just all videos I get from gig, just compile.
Well, you take that vlog, we'll.
And then I've got to edit it in middle at night. Pissed out my head. No.
Sounds like Gary Barlow's idea of a great day out.
Yeah. Right, let's end this. Let's end the suffering.
Yeah, thanks for sticking with us, guys. And yeah, we'll produce something on Saturday. We're not sure what it will be yet, but
yeah, stay tuned.
There you go. Let it shine.